Morning, Sal. Good to see you, boss. I'm still confused about the trade floor. I don't understand what he means. How do you chart something like this where it has all these gaps and spaces? I don't have a bunch of gaps and spaces. I don't know what he's talking about. Previous day close, bam, right there. Previous day high, previous day low. I don't know what more you want. Tag him anyway. Alright, cool. Morning, everybody. Please leave a like on the stream. Let's get to this. So SPY the other night kind of rose up a little bit, cooled off. Now we're just kind of range trading, a little bit under close. So we're going to be looking above these levels here to get back up to the golden pocket. If you go back to the bigger time frames, I do believe we're going to go up and hit the golden pocket, possibly even go over it a little, and then reject. Should most likely reject, so you might see a wick on top of today's candle if we have a buyer reaction, a second buyer reaction. So be very careful, but we have a very strong hammer candle at a very strong historical support. So be very careful for a buyer reaction today. Second thing that could happen is that we just range trade. We could range trade between all of this all day long. So could be some kangaroo again today. Or last scenario, of course, don't want to rule it out. We could just tank. Could end up breaking lower than today or yesterday's low, and we'll move lower. So that's kind of the three scenarios I'm looking at. But hopefully those help you out. All right, let's get some tickers going. All right, so PLTR is the first one. As you can see, I already have everything ready. Kind of grab some farther levels, grab some recent levels, all that good stuff. And last night when I was grabbing these levels, I was saying that 1223, the one I highlighted, and this one could be a potentially good play. And you can see pre-market is still inside of that range. So I'm going to stick to that and add that to my list. And at the end of the stream, I'll show the list so you can see what I've typed. You're not just hearing me type a bunch. So I'm going to say above 1225, stop loss at previous day high. 1216, target 1240, 1260, 1280. We do every 20 cents when we do PLTR. We did this a couple weeks ago. We did it last week. We did it this week again. We're doing it again today. Below, we could say 1190, could say PML, but overall, I think I'm going to wait and just say 11. What is this? 1168. And normally, guys, I do round up, but on such a small ticker like Palantir, I don't see the point. Might as well type the exact cent. At stop loss at, if we broke that, it would be at 1175. Target, you can do 1160 or 1145. I'll probably do 1145. Alright, so Palantir is done. Let's go to Apple. Again on this one, kind of watching above here. With the stop loss set here. Kind of looking below here. With the stop loss set kind of up against that support. So mainly just watching that range. And thank you guys if you guys are in here. I know it hasn't been hard to join. It's an hour before market, so it's a little earlier than usual. But overall, glad to see you guys in here. Had a lot of people request this, and some people can't make it, so it's okay. But Apple. So let's clear that because we don't need it. So previous day close, right about there. Previous day low, right about there. And damn, that kind of gives me everything, actually. Yeah, that gives me like everything. All right, we'll go with that. Above, and do you guys understand how I'm doing this? I'm using my bigger time frame levels, working on the couple smaller time frame levels in the morning, and I'm working around them. I'm forming my list around them. Does it make sense what I'm doing? Because I still have people asking the most basic questions on the trade floor. So please review these videos, ask questions if you don't understand something. But where's pre-market high? Because I see that the close is there, but where did the pre-market end? Okay, when it gapped down. So this would be a very strong level at 162.89. So we'll say 163. Stop loss at, what's a good flat resistance level? $162.65. So kind of a 35-cent stop loss. Target everything above. So we got 164 there. So we got about $1. So you could say 163.50, 164 if you really want to have two really close targets. 163.50 being a very close passive target. 164.50, 165. I like to go every 50 cents on Apple. It's pretty fair for them now. Back then we used to go every $1 and a half. But since that split, they've just kind of maintained this price, so we'll stick with it. Below, you can see previous day close up here, previous day kind of resistance here, but bigger time frame level, which also lines up with the 2-day ago close. So this would be a really good short-term level. So if you want to scalp under 161.80, you can. So I'm going to say below 161.80 for scalps to 161.25. Below. Yeah, I would say this would be a better below because it's under the previous day open, under the previous day close, you're under the high. The only levels you're really working inside of are yesterday's range. So we'll say 160.75. Stop loss at 161.15. Target every 50 cents. 160.25 since our break below is 160.75. It does make sense. All right, thank you, Sal, for answering. But yeah, there's tons of people in chat who are going to continue to ignore these streams, the information they provide, and it's just because they are, what, 10, 20, 30 minutes of a video? You know, so whatever. Let them continue to ask the most basic questions. It's not my job to babysit and do this for you. I had to learn it on my own. You're going to have to learn it on your own. I'm not going to sit here and hold people's hands. But there are people who are wanting their hands held. It's just unbelievable. When we started out, I wish we had a chat with as much resources. It's crazy. A chat like that didn't exist back then. Say 150.75. We're going to still follow that every 50 cent rule. It looks like it's paying off technical analysis wise. 159.15. We'll leave it there at 158.55. And then AAL, this is a swing I have open right now in chat. We're playing for a bounce off of a historical level. If you go over to the, where am I at? I must have deleted it. But right here you can see, I must have redone the TA routine last night. But if you add this level here, 1390, you can see it's kind of a big gap range where they kind of took a while to fill it. Hit it as resistance a couple times. Kind of stayed under it here. Pushed above it here after rejecting it once. Reset candle above. We're back on top of it. So this is kind of bullish retracement. So as long as this holds 1930, in my opinion, this looks really good for continuation. If you want to go edit that level a little more, you can go to the 4 hour. And you can see the gap range is actually a little bit different. It's actually way up here. So I saw Fantastic John in the chat the other day. He said he's going to set a stop loss at 1950. I think that's a great area, actually, considering I just found a better level in the 4 hour that's closer to what he said. So, yep, looks like previous day low. As long as we hold that, AAL should continue higher. So that's kind of last-ditch effort for American Airlines. So be very careful on that. 1946, remember that. Is key support hold for bulls to continue. You can also watch, and I'm not really doing this as kind of a watch list add-on. You can see I'm typing it a little differently. This is how I normally type them. This is how I type them if I have an extra thing to add on. But you can see I always have an entry, I always have a stop loss, and I always have targets on every single list. So, but you can see here, 1945, I'm typing as key support to hold for bulls to continue. We can also watch over, and I'm about to type, we can also watch over the previous day high. Yeah, and that covers everything in the pre-market. Okay, cool. So about 2015, you can see actually, I think I'm going to stick with this level. If you go to the 2-day ago close, it's at about 2020. If it'll let me stick it on the chart. Yeah, 2-day ago open way up here, so I might just leave that on. Let's delete the smaller level. We'll just say 2020. So, if this level doesn't hold for bulls, guys, let's take some just rational thinking real quick, right? If this level breaks to the downside, what can you play for it? Considering I just said if this holds, bulls can go as high as they want. So what does that make this then? If price can break under it, what can you do then? What is some opportunity you can try and risk on? You can play puts to the downside. You can start shorting. Just because this doesn't hold and it ruins your swing, or you didn't go with how you were planning the night before, it doesn't matter. Remember, we planned for both sides. So if this breaks below, don't be scared to short. Don't ruin your opportunity just because you lost a little bit of chunk change on a swing or a day trade that you got faked out on. Don't let one opportunity ruin another. Don't continue to double dip either. It can be a very bad method, double dipping, because then you'll consider doing this or that, and you'll be all shaky, and then you lose twice, and you feel even worse than the first time around. So be emotionally in check. Be comfortable. But let's go to the next chart, Moderna. So I really like Moderna because on the daily time frame, they're bouncing with the bullish engulfing through the golden pocket. So no, I don't think they're going to go to the moon, but overall they are sitting in a really good gray area. So really, really good bounce plays can happen from here to the up or the downside. So I'm going to add a couple levels. And yeah, we'll come back to Moderna because I don't think I want to add this to the list. I don't like Moderna as much as I do a bunch of other tickers. It doesn't play out a whole lot, but I probably will still put it as like a small mention or something at the bottom, just to show yo above this or below that, because it does have a really good range. And overall, it probably will do two things. It probably will go up and down today based on what I just showed you on the daily. It's giving it a chance for bulls to just kind of start and then come back down and finish in the gray area. So you might see a really, really big wick candle, like I said, on the market today. So definitely keep Moderna on watch. The next one is Tesla. Could try and add that if everything is still in place. It is. Nice. Let's go ahead and add it. I didn't add it the past few days because they had earnings last week. So I kind of left that alone. A lot of people think that the Twitter acquisition is going to mess with his Tesla, and it's not. He doesn't have to actually liquidate anything, so you're good. Stop loss at Now, when you play Tesla, you're going to have loose stop losses. I'm going to say 105, 1,005.65. Target, we're going to say 10, 12, 50, 10, 15, 10, 20, 10, 25. Below, so you can see, having all my levels in place, you know, why would I even care about previous day close or this level right here? I wouldn't. I would just wait till this level breaks, right? I wouldn't wait. So below, let's back it back out so I can see. Below 996.25 is too close. It's in the range. 987.40 is too far. And you got a problem because you're inside of your previous day. So you're kind of relying on this as a pivot point right here. 998.15, but that's way up there, so it doesn't really help you. Previous day highs way up here. Previous day lows down here. Previous day opens right here at 978. So very big gray area for Tesla inside of the range. So kind of hard to type out for a watch list, but overall, what would you do if you saw it sell off, right at open? It ends up kind of testing this little gray area here, right? What are you going to look for? You're going to look for weak price action. If you start to see wicks going under, if you start to see small bodies form, if you start to see low volume, all that good stuff. All great indications that this may be a decent bounce area. Look for a potential base build, look for a buy over the 9, all that good stuff. So keep Tesla on watch, but overall, you can see inside of the range, doesn't matter, it doesn't ruin your day, it still gives you great plays. So we have a really good above, let's do a below. So I'm going to say for scalps because we'll be in a range. So below, I'm going to say 987.40. Below 987.40, stop loss at 990. Target this support right here first, 983.55. $979, $975, $972.50, and then $970. And then on the outside of the break below targets, I'm going to say inside range. So hopefully people understand what I mean by that. Basically, I'm pointing out that the play for the downside is all inside range. You don't really get outside of yesterday range until way down here. So could see Reddit open and then see a dip get bought. Could see bullish at open and then see us return back down to see if we can hold on top of these levels here. So you have two really big scenarios to watch for a lot of these charts. A couple more tickers were Home Depot. Everyone needs to keep Home Depot on watch. They've been holding higher lows. You can see they have one low, second low, a third low, and they're all kind of holding a higher angle, kind of building up a little bit. So this one failing to make a new low, this one failing to make a new low, and you can see these are more of a double bottom compared to this higher low angle here. So that's what I'm going to kind of be looking at. But yeah, Home Depot, you have a couple levels here to look at. You can see previous day opens way up here at 310. You have a couple levels here to look at. Previous day high, good common resistance at 306, and you got a couple bigger time frame levels here. Besides that, though, it's clear skies. Home Depot, Nike, another discretionary ticker. That's 3. Nike as well, like most of the market, has a very good potential bounce candle at a support. So again, just like most of the market, just looks really good for a short-term bounce. So if you want to play Nike, watch over that 129.60. You can also watch over this level here, 128.40, and play to that 129.60. So I'm going to add Nike as a single liner. Or below previous day, which is a very far move, but overall, you don't, on a pattern, you don't want to play too aggressively. And then the last one I had on my list was BAC. I wanted to look at BAC as a financial ticker. JPM is heavier in XLF than BAC, but I kind of like BAC's chain when I was relooking over them again last night. And you can see BAC levels working out perfectly. I just got to find what matches for me. So let's add it. Above. You can see previous 2 day ago closes right there. So I might say 37.65. Screw it. Let's go with 37.40. Stop loss at 37.25. 4 cents under the previous day close. Just kind of rounding in a little. Target, we'll say 37.65. 38. 38.25. Below, you can see we have previous day open about right here, kind of using as support right now. So pre-market low is going to be a very good break below. Let's try to find a more passive level that was kind of used. Very heavy level there at 36.50s. So yeah, almost play under PML. You could play under PML to 36.50s, but of course it's going to be hard. You're kind of making your PML as we speak. So not really fun to make that your level. I don't do this quite often, but I think I'm going to go with the 2 day or the previous day PML. Just because it's in the right spot. It's kind of further down than open, but it's not making up anything from this continuation. So I do like that 36.70. So I'm going to say below 36.70, stop loss at, let me edit that, 36.70 stop loss at, and I'll choose a pretty decent level from here. So if price pops back up, 36.90, 36.85. 36.85 is a really good stop loss. Target 36.55, 36.40. It's very tedious. Sometimes you're not going to be adding levels that are super far away. You can see today I'm adding pretty close targets. Do you know why that is? The market is in a very crucial area. That's why I start with SPY every single stream, to give you the routine of looking at it yourself. As you can see, like I said, the market's in a crucial area. It can literally do anything today. You know, yesterday it was pretty clear we were going to start lower because of the move we had from last week. Today, we could literally start in between range, push higher. We could start in between range, never leave it. Start in between range, drop. You know, starting in between range gives you option. You literally can do all 3 different scenarios. Even if one is higher probability, it still doesn't matter. You need to plan for all 3. So we'll be looking forward to that. And here's the list, guys. Let me just show you, because I did kind of run through it a little quick. Trying to get to my old watch list. So make sure to go through that. If you're in chat, you have it now. So make sure to go add it to your charts if you can. So go see how close we are in levels together. But yeah, got a lot of really good tickers on there. Let's look at PFE from Rimraf. Rimraf said PFE. Oh, and one more thing. So guys, again, I'm serious. I cannot stress this enough. You need to go through these channels, okay? That needs to be your first, just off your checklist. You need to go through those, understand everything in them, go through them with your chart. It's going to take time, no duh. Pin messages. This is the other high quality area to go look at things, okay? I've been posting in here since multiple years ago. So as you can see, I also have a ton of links here, which you can go to my playlist on this channel. You can see all this anyway. We posted a 40% and 80% entry example. We do it for all these charts. If you go down to yesterday, and this is what a lot of people don't do as well, scroll up. It's not hard. Just reread some info. Jesus. Scroll up and you can see, where was it? I know Leland did it. Maybe it was last week. Here it is. So last Friday, Leland posted NVIDIA from our watch list that I posted, and he posted example entries. This is exactly what you need to be doing every day, visualizing. I can't tell you how crazy crucial it is to go visualize. So go take these watch list levels, add them to your chart at the end of the day. I'm talking when the day's over. Go down to it, and you can review. See what's going on. So when you guys come ask me basic questions and you tell me you've reviewed everything, I know you're lying. Like Snap here. Snap is a really good example. You know, somebody in chat asked, what do I do about all these gaps and stuff? And he sent me a chart that was zoomed in like this. It's like, well, you got to back out, homie. Back it out. I ended up adding the previous day high, the previous day low. I just added this level because it was cool. It lines up with the PML, and it's also kind of a lower or a higher low from yesterday. And then previous day close. So you can see I gave myself everything. So even though this is kind of a tight, almost untradeable range, it gives me something to watch for initially. And again, why I say always back out a little bit, because you can see we have kind of just been trading inside of ourselves the past couple days. So even without backing out to the bigger time frame, I can tell you we're squeezing. Pfizer though, same thing. And guys, again, don't think, oh, when I'm looking at this is the only chart doing this. No, there's a lot of charts doing this right now. So when you guys see this, point that out. XLF or XLV, sorry, XLF. XLV is pushing a lot of these candles. Most of the market is pushing a lot of these candles. So you're gonna see a lot of this where it's a big bullish candle at support. You said do Rivian. Be careful with Rivian. They have ER soon. I remember reading about that. Yeah, it's next or 2 weeks from now. A little under 2 weeks actually. Sorry. But as you can see, if I clear my drawing set, go out to the max daily. This is the all-time low for them. So you need to go to the 4 hour. Whoops. You go to the 4 hour. Mark you a fresh low. You can see 35.20s is the all-time low before this recent drop. They dropped under it. 1 day, 2 day of not really that much volume. So possibly going to go smack their head against that level today. I would definitely count on it. But as you can see, we have a failing bear flag kind of under that level. So be very careful with Rivian. So what do you need to be watching, Andre? You need to be watching the low of that pattern. 32.40s is where it's most likely going to go head. If you watch under previous day low, you have a really good shot because you're kind of giving yourself room. You're already under previous day open. You're under all of the previous day levels, the 2 day ago levels. So really you're just watching tomorrow or yesterday's low. You need to watch about 33.30s, 33 area for more downside. If it picks back up, you already know what level to watch forward to, 35.20. Does that make sense? And again, don't think that what your levels are, that's what the market has to play by, right? So if it pops above the pre-market high and it goes and it hits this level, what's to tell me it has to go more? It doesn't have to do anything, right? Does that make sense? So that's why you have to plan that each level is a slowdown point. That's why I say that every day in stream, because each level is that important. Every level is basically a very important pivot point. So make sure you guys are putting confidence in your technical analysis. You're making sure, okay, when I'm marking this level, I understand why. I can go to each one of my levels on each one of my charts and tell you exactly why I have it. Therefore, in the future, when I'm looking back at everything, I'm not just running around the place. But good questions, guys. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Sal, Leland, Devin, Al. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for engaging. A lot of you guys have been here day after day. I have a question. Besides PML, why don't you mark lows? Like on what? Give me an example. What was something we went through that I didn't do that on? besides pre-market low, why don't you mark lows? I do mark lows. I'm trying to figure out what you mean. You mean like when we're going through marking like emerging candles, all that good stuff, why am I only marking like highs and all that? Sometimes we do mark bounces. If you go in between the range and you see like a move up and then you see it kind of go down, and then I mark another merging a candle up here, if you end up marking underneath that, if you mark the, here, let me show you. Let's go to a better chart. So like Apple here. So you see how I'm marking all emerging candles? By marking these, I'm giving myself some of those dips, some of those lows. I don't have to do that every single time. But also, if you want to do that, you can. So you see how this kind of broke out and then kind of rested, but never went lower than this? And then it broke lower. You can mark that. That's not a bad level to mark. I'm just giving you all the simplistic levels to mark, so you have at least the basics. So if you want to mark that, definitely no problem. So you can see like in that example, or for smaller time frames, I do mark lows all the time. I have to mark lows. I have to mark the previous day low. I have to mark the pre-market low. But sometimes I won't mark it if I see another level in play. Like for Apple, I do like this level a lot. It's very clean. It uses previous day levels and it's using pre-market, right? And it's from the bigger time frame. It's not even from either of these time frames. It's from the daily, the 4 hour. So it is very important, but sometimes it's more important to point out what level is better. You know, would you play calls above this? Would you play calls above this? Would you play calls above this? Like, no, you'd probably want to play the more passive area up here, not right here, right? Just because there's a gap fill there, right? Yeah, it's a notable level, but why would I play that, right? So sometimes it just involves choosing a better level, if that makes sense. Sometimes you'll have so many levels in front of you, and then you'll notice, oh, okay, this one's more passive. That's not a basic question. That was a great question. Thank you for asking that. I just didn't understand what you meant at first. It was kind of hard. And again, guys, trading is hard to talk about. You know, right there, Sal just asked that question. It confused my brain. I didn't understand what he meant. But further looking at stuff, I kind of got what he meant now. You know, and it's hard to put some of this stuff into word format, really, seriously. Like, you're thinking it, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Click, that click moment. But when you're explaining something, it's so much harder to actually get it out of your head. So trust me, Sal, I understand what you mean. But that's what we're trying to get better at. Breaking things down out loud, Sal. So over time, continue to speak out loud. Continue to ask those questions. Great question. That was a great question. But I'll see you guys in chat. There is no stream inside Discord. I'll be alerting in the text channel, so make sure to pay attention if you can. But thank you guys for joining the stream. Please leave a like if you can. That would definitely help out. And I'll see you guys